Hi, welcome to Anaprime Recap. As you walk through the subway station, you are attacked by a horde of zombies, which are taking over the entire city. We are in the anime Seoul Station, which precedes the events of the movie Train to Busan. Near the subway station in the city of Seoul, South Korea, an elderly man apparently ill walks the streets. Although several people witness that situation, most do not offer to help, considering that the old man is just a homeless person. He joins other beggars at the station and remains there until he is found by a man who, noticing that the old man is weakened, runs in search of someone who can help him. Finding no one willing to treat the injured homeless, the man walks to a drugstore to buy aspirin. When he returns to the station, the old man is already dead. The man then asks for help from the police officers at a nearby police station. When they return to the scene, they don't find the homeless person. Instead, there's just a stain of blood, smeared on the floor. In another part of town, Hae-sun wakes up during the night and notices that her boyfriend is not there. Not knowing what happened to the young man, the girl walks through the city streets trying to find him. She enters a cyber cafe and there she sees Ki-won. When looking at the computer screen, the girl realizes that her boyfriend was about to put them in an illegal job. Hae-sun is enraged and the two start to argue. Ki-won tries to explain that this would be the last time they would do that kind of thing. He still promises that next month he will get a decent job, but the girl recalls that this is exactly what he had said the previous month. At the end of the discussion, Ki-won states that he doesn't want to see Hae-sun again and asks her not to go back to his apartment. He refers to the girl as being ungrateful, as he was the one who took her in when she ran away from home and now she refuses to help him. With nowhere to go, Hae-sun begins to cry in despair and reveals that she regrets leaving her father's house. Meanwhile, on the other side of Seoul, a man named Suk-gyu receives a call in which he is informed of Hae-sun's situation. They then meet and the man introduces himself as the girl's father. The young man reports not knowing where Hae-sun is and the man is enraged. Ki-won tries to get in touch with her, but the girl doesn't answer his calls. To try to calm the situation, the young man suggests that the man go with him to the pension. As the girl had no money, she would probably go back there sooner or later. Back at the subway station, the man is looking for the missing old man, until he finally finds him in a dark alley. When he takes a closer look, he notices that the old man had a grotesque appearance and was feeding on the flesh of a young man whom he had killed. Before he can flee, the man is also attacked and killed by the creature. When they arrive at the apartment, Ki-won notices that Hae-sun still hasn't come home. As Suk-gyu waited outside, he witnessed a terrifying scene. The next-door neighbor was being attacked by a terrifying creature. After killing the young man, the monster goes after Suk-gyu, who manages to enter the apartment and close the door in time. While he was looking for a weapon to defend himself, Ki-won opens the door to find out who is outside. At that moment, the monster attacks the young man, but he is saved by Suk-gyu, who lands several blows on the zombie's head. Seconds later, the man who had been killed gets up and also tries to attack them. Suk-gyu throws an object in the monster's face and both he and Ki-won hide in the house's bathroom. Realizing that it won't be possible to get out the door, Suk-gyu looks for a way to escape through the bathroom window. He climbs through the pipes until he reaches the roof of the building. Ki-won follows him, but while he was still outside, the monster manages to break down the door and almost catches the young man. Fortunately, the two manage to make it safely up to the terrace. The next challenge will be to get to the car, which is surrounded by zombies. Suk-gyu's plan is to use Ki-won as bait to trick those creatures. The young man should get the attention of the zombies, while the man takes the car and finds it on the main street. The problem is that, in this situation, single slip can cost him his life. Ki-won climbs down the pipes and walks to where the car was parked. There, the young man bumps into a drunk man who starts yelling at him, drawing the attention of the zombies. At the same time, the young man starts to run and the monsters go after him. On the way, one of them attacks the drunk guy. Suk-gyu takes advantage of the distraction to run to the car and is almost caught, but still manages to escape. Meanwhile, Ki-won is running through the alleys. When he is about to reach the main avenue, a zombie appears and runs towards him, but luckily Suk-gyu appears soon after and rescues the young man. Both escape that attack unharmed and follow in search of Hae-sun who, not knowing what is happening, walks alone through the subway station. It is already night and only beggars are there at that time of night. A few minutes later, the girl finds a group of survivors fleeing in the opposite direction of her. Then, a horde of zombies appears and starts chasing them, devouring everyone who crosses their path. On the city streets, the small group is still trying to escape. Hae-sun trips on the stairs and is almost devoured. The group arrives at the police station, but the officers doesn't care for what they have to say and order them to leave. Soon after, the monsters appear and destroy the glass door. One of the police officers is attacked and killed, but the others lock themselves inside a cell and manage to stay alive for now. The zombies are still outside trying to devour them. Hai-sun looks to the side and notices that the policeman had been bitten. Now the girl, along with the two beggars, must find a way out of that cell before the man transforms. The other officer who had been attacked gets up and grabs his partner by the shirt. He then shoots him in the head and starts shooting at the civilians. One of the beggars attacks the injured policeman and manages to knock him down. The man takes the gun and checks that there are only 2 bullets. Minutes later, the policeman who was with them in the cell completes his transformation and attacks one of the men inside. The beggar shoots the policeman in the head and then the military troops arrive at the police station. The zombies leave the cell and go to attack the soldiers. At that moment, Hai-sun and the beggar took the opportunity to escape. Outside the police station, they find a nurse who accompanies them to the ambulance. On the way to the hospital, Hai-sun calls Ki-won, who informs her that he and her father are looking for her. They arrange to meet at the hospital, until the nurse reveals that the place is overrun with people infected by bites. Hearing this, the beggar despairs and asks the man to stop the ambulance, as all those victims would turn into zombies. He then goes to the driver and tries to get the man to stop the vehicle. Because of the confusion, they have an accident, but luckily no one is seriously hurt. The girl and the homeless man manage to leave the place and re-enter the subway. They walk along the tracks until they reach the next station, which is also full of zombies. Meanwhile, Ki-won and Suk-gyu arrive at the hospital, where they arrange to meet Hai-sun. As they cannot communicate with the girl, her father goes to the emergency room to see if she is there. The man arms himself with a piece of metal and heads towards the service room. Arriving there, he realizes that the place is taken over by monsters. Outside, while waiting for Suk-gyu, Ki-won is surprised by a zombie running towards him. The creature is held by the seatbelt a few inches from the young man, but before he can devour him, Suk-gyu appears and hits the zombie several times with the piece of metal. Then he gets in the car and the two manage to flee that place. On the road, the man asks Ki-won to call his daughter again, but as the girl is on the subway, her phone is dead. They then drive to an upper part of the city to get a better look. In the meantime, Hai-sun and the homeless man finally make it out of the station. The signal returns and the girl calls her boyfriend. They arrange to meet at exit 4 of Hohyeon Station, but before they can even end the call, 2 zombies appear and start chasing them. The man and the girl run to the end of the street, where they find a barrier guarded by a group of civilians who help them to escape. Inside, they find dozens of homeless people, but to Hai-sun's misfortune, there is no phone signal in that place either. Unable to communicate with the girl, Ki-won and Suk-gyu head towards Hohyeon Station. When they arrive at the scene, they realize that the military has closed the street where Hai-sun and the other survivors are in order to prevent contaminated people from continuing to transit through the city. On the other side of the barrier, a desperate crowd tries to get out, but there is no escape. Ki-won tries to convince one of the militaries to let them pass, but is ignored. Another policeman approaches and orders them to leave. Suk-gyu, in a moment of rage, attacks the man and is immobilized by 2 other police officers. What remains now is to wait for Hai-sun to get in touch again. While fighting the creatures, one of the men is slightly injured. Because it's a superficial wound, his friends believe he won't change. Inside the barrier, the beggar stands up and walks to the front of the crowd. He makes a speech saying that the government doesn't care about the population and that they have to survive on their own. He gets on the bus to get to the other side, but before he can cross, the man spots dozens of armed soldiers, and then one of them shoots him in the chest. Then the young man who had been bitten transforms and attacks his friend. The guy defending the barrier spots hundreds of zombies approaching and runs away. Gas bombs are launched into the barrier and everyone despairs. The man takes a metal gate and uses it as a ladder to climb a lamppost, light pole and reach the roof, which was on the other side. Hai-sun tries to do the same, but is almost knocked down by the zombies trying to capture her from below. The young man comes back to help her, however, ends up being pulled by the foot and devoured. The girl continues and manages to cross. She enters through a window and is soon found by another zombie. As she flees through the hallways, other monsters appear and start chasing her. The girl comes across a building under construction and walks through the beams to get to the other side, but the zombies continue to go after her and one of them manages to knock her down. The girl falls on the balcony of a furniture store and, while recovering her energy, she receives a call from Ki-won. Hai-sun informs her where she is and then walks through the store, until she finds a desk with a chair. The young woman sits and falls asleep right there. Apparently, she is very weak. Minutes later, she is woken up by Ki-won, who takes her to her father. When the man appears, Hai-sun turns pale. She says that it was not her father, but actually a loan shark, to whom she owed money. The man is furious that she ran away without paying her debt first. He tries to pull her by the arm, but her boyfriend gets in the way. Suk-gyu then hits the young man and goes towards the girl. To defend her, Ki-won takes a knife and tries to plunge it into the attacker's neck, but the man is faster and manages to knock him down. He takes the knife and cuts the young man's throat. Hae-sun runs away and hides in another section of the store, inside a wardrobe. While the man is looking for her, the young woman picks up a ceramic artifact and tries to hit him. But Suk-gyu manages to dodge and knock the girl down. Then he lands several kicks in her face, until she realizes that Hae-sun has stopped moving. As he checks to see if her heart is still beating, he notices a wound on her leg. When he looks at the girl again, she has already turned into a bloodthirsty zombie. Hae-sun immediately devours the man, giving him his well-deserved end. In the city of Seoul, chaos continues. Military are on the streets trying to exterminate all those creatures, but they will hardly be able to get rid of all of them. And those were the events that led to the train to Busan apocalypse. How did that first homeless person become patient zero? So what did you think of this anime? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like the video, like and subscribe for more anime recaps. See you next time.